I'm Ros Paxman. I've known Mark since about 1986. I ran a graphic design business for 17 years, which is quite a high-stressed occupation, and that's when I started coming to see him. I had a period of quite serious illness for 10 to 12 years, and I became very dependent on coming to see Mark then, because he made a huge difference to my life. Actually, I've always had a bit of an alternative bent when it comes to medicine. I suppose it's never made sense to me to treat people as a series of parts. So the holistic approach is something that I've always been interested in, at least since my teens. I used to go to things like the Festival of Mind, Body and Spirit, and so it opened my mind. There are always symptoms when I'm encouraged to come along. You know, there's going to be something that I want Mark to look at. But of course, when I arrive, that can, in a funny way, become almost irrelevant, because there's a process that Mark is going to put me through every time, which will show up the causes of these issues, because it's your body that tells him everything he needs to know. You know, the triad of health, the balance. Mark describes it sometimes as a three-legged stool. It's an equilateral triangle, and each of these sides has to be in balance. And one side represents the physical and the structural, another side represents the emotional and intellectual, and the other side is nutritional and chemical. And if those things are in balance, then the whole structure is stable. But if you get an imbalance, it doesn't always occur in the same place that the symptom shows up. So a really easy way to understand that is, for example, you can get a headache, which is a physical reaction, to an emotional stress. People always say that this stuff is hard to understand, and I don't agree. I think it's very easy to understand, because it's very akin to the way a computer operates. You've got hardware. You've got your operating system, and you've got software, which is programs that run on the system. So the hardware is very like the human body, the physical body. And if your physical body isn't working, if your computer hardware isn't working, nothing's going to work, right? You can't run an operating system, you can't run programs. So the first thing that has to be attended to is the physical, the structural. The second thing, of course, then is the operating system, because without an operating system, you can't run any software programs. The operating system's like the nutrition, the body's chemistry. It's got to be in balance. Once all that's working, then you can start addressing the programs that you're running, the psychology, the beliefs, the intellectual information. I was a patient of Mark's, but he then asked my business to do his corporate identity work. So we helped him to develop the logo and the stationery, and even built the little dodecahedron that was on the top of the roof. And so I've thought about the way applied kinesiology works for very many years. And he works very fast. I mean, he probably works hugely faster with me than he does with some other people, because I also know the process inside out. So we kind of move around all the muscle testing like lightning. I mean, Mark is absolutely unique, and what he does here at the Reve Pavilion is like nothing I've ever encountered anywhere else. That he is an absolute one-off. He's actually got a huge amount of intuition, and is very joined up, very connected himself. I'm quite sensitive and quite tuned into my body now after all these years of working with Mark, so I can come in and quite often tell him, you know, I've put this rib out or done something to my neck, and I sort of know which bits of me are implicated, and I know that he has the answer and the way of releasing that is going to make me feel better. And at the end of the session, I may require some sort of nutritional supplement, which Mark can often provide, or give me the paperwork so that I can order it directly, or a homeopathic remedy which he'll mix up himself. And all of these things are tested with your body. This is what's so exceptional about applied kinesiology, is this isn't Mark's intellect that's going, I think this person needs X, Y, Z. It is my body reacting to his testing that gives him absolutely specific, accurate information. There is also a sort of a schedule to the appointments that I book, in that I know that whenever I walk out of here, I will be back, because he makes that much difference to me. It's worth every penny. Through the years when I was ill, I had quite a serious condition and was really one of the walking wounded. I had to give up working and spent a lot of time at home. I would come and see Mark, I would say, about every 5 weeks, and if I left it any longer than that, my health would just plummet. He kept me going completely, he kept me out of pain. I've referred people to Mark over the years, many people. A lot of them have really benefited hugely and been very open to the process. Really grateful to him for the difference he made to my life. And I've recovered from this condition, which actually a lot of people don't ever recover from. I would like to say that Mark must never retire and never shuffle off this mortal coil, because I really don't know what I'd do without him.